We can't hear you, Vijay bhai.
Vijay, you got freeze.
Group Prashant Ajmera with us. A quick brief introduction of Rakesh and Prashant, who are the main speakers today. Rakesh Achwani brings his passionate pursuit of perfection to help his clients build the basic foundations necessary to create and protect your wealth. He has spent about 28 years bringing client-driven financial planning in life insurance options to executives, professionals, and high net worth individuals in the UAE and around the world. Rakesh founded Compass Financial Solutions in Dubai, UAE to help clients understand the financial planning process so that each individual's needs are met with efficiency and excellence. What started in 1990 as a part-time sales consultant position with LIC has now grown into Rakesh's business legacy. He successfully exited Compass Financial Solutions in 2020, and in 2015, Rakesh co-founded Garanti International Limited, that is www.garanti.com, with his longtime friend and business partner, Sanjay Rupani, who was based in Nairobi, Kenya. Garanti is an FSC regulated company in Mauritius with the objective of exploring LRS-based opportunities for Indian advisors and wealth managers, ultimately bringing unique and world-class USD denominated and global investment solutions to the Indian residents. Having offices in Kenya, Nairobi, Mauritius, UAE, Dubai, and India. They are in Mumbai, Chennai, Hyderabad, allows Garanti to focus locally and provide first-class service and client support globally. In 2019, Rakesh also co-founded Protect for Less, next-gen fintech company, providing protection solutions to all your gadgets and electronic devices. Rakesh is currently at the forefront of the financial services sector with several published articles in major newspapers in UAE. He has become an acknowledged industry leader and expert. His achievements have been regularly recognized as the Millionaire prestigious honor roll list as well, a distinction which is reserved for the top 0.2% independent financial and insurance advisors worldwide. He is also a dedicated member of the CEO Club. With us also is the chairman and founder of Ajmera Law Group and Ajmera Capital, Mr. Prashant Ajmera, who is a reputed immigration lawyer, a Canadian citizen, founder and chairman of Ajmera Law Group, with over 25 years of experience in the field of immigration and corporate law, international trade, and in assisting Indian startups to go global. He is a visionary who recognized the future of citizenship and residence in citizenship by investment and conducted the very first EB5 seminar, investment seminar in India in 1999 in Mumbai. His profound understanding of the laws of India and multiple foreign jurisdictions has helped numerous HMI clients in achieving their goals. At the same time, this has helped him forge strong financial professional alliances with reputed law firms, with developers, and allied professionals the world over. Mr. Ajmera has also been a speaker, moderator, advisor at various immigration shows and events held in India and abroad, including Invest in USA. He has also contributed numerous articles related to immigration, why Indian HNI should consider investing globally, and how foreign companies can enter into the global market. He's also authored two books, Millionaires on the Move, a book which is explaining the business immigration program to over 22 countries, and recently, How to Plan Your Child's Foreign Education in 2020, Myth versus Reality. Furthering his vision and need to provide a 360-degree solution to the HNIs and UHNI clients, he founded Ajmera Capital, and which was launched very, very recently. We are very happy to say that Garanti is one of our prime and also one of the first associates in Ajmera Capital. Welcome to all of you and welcome to Ajmera sir and to Rakesh. The floor is all yours. Please take it forward from here, sir.
Thank you, Vijay. Thank you for your introduction. And welcome to all the attendees, Rakesh Bhai and Nigel, Shrey, Sagar, and team of Ajmera Law and Ajmera Capital. So before we start the full-fledged presentation from Garanti International about the global mutual funds, let me just give you an idea about the why we had to come up with the Ajmera Capital and what we are offering and what we are doing. So most of us are aware of the things happen in India with respect to the liberalized remittance scheme. And under the liberalized remittance schemes, the Indian government allowed the Indian company to make an investment outside India. And also at the same time, the Indian individuals or Indian citizens were also allowed to make either investment or an expenditure outside the India. When we look at the data given by the RBI in the last 6 years, we see that the Indian companies, starting from the Tatas and Ambanis and all these companies and small and medium-sized companies, has made continuously investment out of India. And obviously, they are very well served by the banks, financial institutes, law firms, chartered accountants, and so on and so forth, because these are all multinational, big companies, small companies, but they are being done. But when we look at the RBI data, particularly the investment or remittance done by the Indian citizen out of India, that one was the kind of a problem where we saw the, let me just bring it back, that one. Last year, almost $19 billion, 19 billion US dollars were remitted by Indian citizen out of India. Out of that one, you can see that $10 billion is for the child's education and their living expenses remitted by the Indian parents. Compared to that, if you look at in the red, deposit, properties, and a debt, the investment is only $1 billion. And at the same time, we almost spend $7 billion in foreign travel. And that we all know. So what this data give us the idea about our living, spending habits, and also our investment habits. So if we look at the very quickly, the before 2007, when there was no liberalized scheme and the economy was not moving, we were doing everything in India. But we were doing hardly anything out of India. But because of the liberalized remittance schemes, now we have luxury homes, international travel, children's educations after 12th, but not only they are going for a master's, destination weddings, business. So all these dollars we are spending, but we are not investing. So it's a fundamental principle that of an investment advisory or investment things, that if you are spending the money in a one way, you have to invest in a similar way. But now what we are doing at the moment is basically we are earning the money in India and spending as and when we need it, we go abroad. And this is how most of the financial planners, parents, chartered accountants, lawyers, everybody is planning for their children's education and for their holidays, for their destination weddings, which is can become a financial disaster. So let me bring you the 4 new aspects or 4 new facts which will make you think that we have to do the financial advisories in a different way. And that's why we are bringing this first product in front of you. So we have 4 different things in front of us that we saw from this data that there is a change in the spending habits. We also know that if the child is a local student in Canada or America or Australia or New Zealand, he will pay much lesser fees compared to an international student. But we are not doing anything about it. Obviously, there is a currency difference. There is a rise in the cost of the foreign educations. With all these facts, even though we know or we will come to know as of now, are we doing anything? Not at all. And that's where we bring it, the 4 aspects, which is a foreign investment zaruri hai. Why? Because in last 12 years, the dollar was at 49. Now it has become up to 73, 74. Also, if we look at the share markets in the last 12 years, particularly in the dollars term, even though we all think that the Indian market is booming, in terms of the $30, the Indian market has not given any return. When you convert your return in India in a rupee to a dollar. Also at the same time, the cost is increasing of the cost of education. And in this case, basically, I'm trying to summarize again that we have now change in the spending habits. We know that there is a difference in the local student fees and international student fees. There is a currency difference is there also, which we are taking a hit on it. There is a rising cost as well. Don't you think that we need a kind of a different type of a financial planning, financial advisories, and an investment into a dollar denominations or a euro, or probably into the sterling pound? So, but why this is not happening in India? Reason this is not happening is lack of knowledge. Myself, our company, Ajmera Law Group and Ajmera Capitals, Gurantis, there are other few companies are with us as well. We all face the similar problem that there is a lack of knowledge. At the same time, we also saw that we have, even though we are a small company, Ajmera Capital and Ajmera Law Group, we have been approached by more than 100 companies and government agencies all over the world that how do we attract the Indian HNIs and ultra HNIs to make an investment in our country. Individuals, I'm not talking about the company. Like right now, we are in contact with the communications with the London Stock Exchange, Moscow Stock Exchange, the Greece development agencies. They're all interested in bringing the investment from India from an individual HNIs and ultra HNIs. So we see the two problems. There is a lack of knowledge and a lack of the products, so many products are coming in the market. So in order to address that, we thought that we should have a platform like an Ajmera Capital. So if you go on Ajmera Capital website, we are trying to bring all the foreign products on a one platform, which could be into various things. And at the same time, we thought that in order to increase the knowledge, we should have a non-profit organizations, which we have just recently registered with the 5 of our founding company. And it's going to be an association or a forum for overseas investment awareness under the name FOA or FOIA. So under the Ajmera Capitals, if you look at it, and if you go to these websites, we are trying to bring under the Global Investment Advisory, the digital bank account. You can open it in a multi-currency. It's not a wallet, it's a bank account. You can make an investment into US stock market directly. You can have a portfolio management services as well. You can invest into up to 60 stock market in the world, including the Guranti, the Rakesh Bhai is going to make a presentations about. Obviously, we have an options for the residency and citizenship by investment of almost 20 countries. Global real estate also, we have a large portfolio to make an investment, and under the startup visa as well. So with the number of products, what we had and what we have been approached by from the different suppliers, different real estate developers, professionals, companies, we realized that there is now time to bring all these products under the one umbrella and continue to add it, whereby we can go and basically people can see all these products at the same time. But also at the same time, we have to do the education as well. And that's why we are doing it. Under the residency, means the 4 asset class, if you look at it in general, we are into the 4 asset class. One is obviously the global stock markets and related products like mutual fund, what we are doing today, global real estates, second passports, global enterprise or a startup. As already I mentioned, we have the Forum for Overseas Investment Awareness because we looked at the several associations. I spoke and I attended a number of associations in Mumbai and Calcutta, in Delhi, in Chennai. But we realized that whenever we go to this association, even though it says national, I mean internationals, global, but 90% or 95% of the time, the interactions and we talk about is only Indian products, Indian markets, and supply and demands and whatever not. There was no separate forum to talk about the overseas product and to bring the systematic knowledge to the Indian professionals, particularly to the you guys who is basically investment advisors, portfolio managers, chartered accountants, lawyers, and real estate brokers, those who are licensed by the government agencies or by some kind of an organizations. So that's the reasons we brought the Ajmera Capital, where you will always find all this new product and new informations about it. And we wish to continue this one under the Ajmera Capital. Plus, also we wish to do much more activity under the Forum for the Overseas Investment as well. So if you are interested, I'm going to put this one on a social media where you can join a WhatsApp group or a Telegram as well. So that's the basically the idea that the birth of an Ajmera Capital was for these reasons, and our association we do it. I'm not going to take much time. I'm just closing my presentation on this one, and I'd like Rakesh Bhai to take over and make a presentation about the global mutual funds and how the Indian financial advisors and mutual fund distributors can advise this to their client for making an investment into a dollar denominations or in a foreign currency. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time. And I'll just stop my presentation. Thank you, guys. Rakesh Bhai, floor is yours, and you can start up with your presentation.
I think fantastic insights, Prashantji. I have to say, it is your experience and expertise which you bring on the table, which is fantastic and very, very motivational. Also, I love the idea of the foundation which you mentioned. I think that will create a big role for not only the regulator, also us as advisors to ensure that, we give them non-biased views of what the foreign world is going to bring them. Without much of wasting of time, I'm just going to give a short introduction of Guarantee. I've been in financial services for almost 29 years now, and started with a life insurance consultant and then later now doing wealth management. But one of the journeys which I've completed so far, the key thing here which I've realized is how do we evolve ourselves? How do we evolve ourselves with the needs of the client? Because the needs of the clients will ever change. Are we as advisors adapting ourselves to their changes? That is a key of keeping the clients for long term. And one of the most important factors of Guarantee coming into existence 5 years ago was we realized that it is very difficult for somebody who's sitting in the emerging markets, say India or Africa, where we have offices, to get access to world-class fund managers, to get access to world-class funds, to get access to world-class platforms. And we thought that it is a huge gap and we wanted to disturb the gap. And of course, we started this almost 5 years ago. And you could see there are so many of them who have started very recently in the recent past for global investments. So this is what Guarantee does. We open doors for US dollar, or I would say foreign or offshore investments for all our advisors. This has been our forte. As we move forward, we are going to bring to you one of the key products which we feel was the most important, and we'll come to the product soon. So this is about me. You don't need to really look at me. It's a very old picture of mine. So just going further, what I've just made up some key graphs of what are the details. What are the details we can show or comparisons we can show between two different mutual funds. Before that, I'm just going to put in a small poll, if you allow me to. This is poll. Huh? I would want you to just go through the poll and answer these questions before we go on to our presentation. It won't take you much long. It's a very simple, straightforward poll. Great, quite interesting. I can see some results which are quite interesting for me. Okay, so we have a couple of more seconds. I'm sure everybody has voted. Close to 70% have voted. Last few seconds for anybody else to vote for, so that we can close it. Okay, so straight done. Okay, so let me just share the results with you. Quite an interesting result, actually. You can share it, Shrey? Okay, can you see this? Can all of you see the results? Right. Quite surprising if you see only 17% of the advisors in today's presentation were able to provide them in the solutions. 40% did not have a solution to provide, and 40% were not asked by the clients. Quite an interesting share. Key things for me to take up, I mean, this happened many times before, but key things is only 17% were able to provide them investment solutions. The other 83% either did not have the solution, they have not been asked by the client today, but I'm sure you will get these questions sometime soon. And 3%, I would say we have somebody who did say that, he ignored that question. So still a large majority of people who do not have any clue, or I would say 83% do not have any clue. What do you do about this question when it comes to clients? Okay, so let's move ahead, Shrey, if you can. I'm just going to share with you a small comparison of what is an Indian mutual fund and what is a US mutual fund and global mutual funds. This is a graph which is available. It's an open source. So if you look at the total number of mutual fund houses in India, close to about 1,700 plus mutual funds, while in the US is about 7,500. As of December 2020, we are talking about AUM of about 424 billion versus the US mutual fund industry, which is about 21 trillion. It's quite a huge margin, right? And why are we not investing there, right? Nasdaq, if you look at what it has delivered in the last 10 years with a 25% CAGR, with S&P 500 giving you almost 19.6% CAGR. Whereas if you look at the Nifty, which has delivered a CAGR of around 11.8%. So it's quite a contrasting statements which I hear some people, fund managers talking about, that Indian mutual funds are doing better. So I don't know how they calculate that, right? But it's all in there. It's all available on open source. You can, the clients are today more savvy. They look at these graphs as well, and it won't be, you won't be surprised if they ask you these questions today or tomorrow. Straight next one. Now, if you look at the entire global mutual fund industry, it has got $55 trillion worth of AUM. Now, there's a huge, huge difference. You're talking about almost a $50 trillion industry versus in India of 1% of $420 billion. Even if it grows at whatever rate, I think it's still got a lot of time to catch up, right? Well, that is just giving you a preview of what we are looking at. We are looking at a huge giant of $55 trillion industry versus an Indian mutual fund industry of almost just about $420 billion. So huge difference. Now, this is a fact which I really love to share. And of course, it's very common. I'm sure you have done these research yourself. This is a US dollar versus Indian rupee. I haven't taken any particular dates as such. I just went from today's date when we made the presentation, say last week, to 1 year ago. So it was Jan 21st, 2011 to Jan 21st, 2021. And you've seen what the Indian rupee has done in the last 10 years. I'm not saying that it's going to happen for the next 10 years or 5 years. I'm not an economist to say that. But if you look at it, the Indian rupee over the last 20, 25 years has done very similar. I came to Dubai in 93, and at that time, the rupee was close to 22.5, and it's currently what it is today. So there's a huge contrasting difference of what the depreciation of the rupee means for an investor. Because what you're comparing yourself is also a real growth. Because if your inflation and depreciation of the rupee is calculated, it just becomes too difficult for us to compare what returns which markets are giving us, right? But this is a discussion which you can do yourself. This is taken from xe.com. It's all live numbers, right? Okay. I've also given you a synapse of, a slide which Sagar made and which was very interesting. What we did is we took $10,000 10 years ago, and 10 years ago, the rupee was 45 rupees and 57 paise. And we invested that money into an S&P 500 in the US. We took the same money and invested into S&P BSC 500. And look what has happened in the last 10 years. In the last 10 years, the difference, not only just the growth in the S&P 500 and S&P BSC 500, but also the dollar, which appreciated 60%. So there is a huge difference in the same $10,000 if you take it today at today's rupee rate, and it's close to 87%. Now, imagine somebody in your network had a son or a daughter who's started a plan or an FD 10 years ago and saying that, I have got, say, 1 crore of FD and I want 10 years and this is the money I'm gonna get, or I'm gonna put 10,000 or a lakh of rupees into S&P in a mutual fund in US or here. It's a huge difference. It's almost twice the amount. So you can just imagine what would happen if that child is supposed to go for his or her education, is actually falling short in the dollar terms. And you planned well, you get everything, but you cannot, you can't control the way rupee has depreciated, right? So this is again a very, very important graph or sheet which we share with our clients before we go and see them. And I'm sure there'll be a lot of more questions coming in the Q&A, and I'm sure there'll be a lot more heads spinning around on what's happening. Has anybody shared this with you before? But very interesting fact. Again, it could be correlated in different markets, different indexes, or maybe different indices, or whatever you feel like, but you would still get a huge difference. Shrey. So let us understand, we all advisors, we all experienced enough to understand that, we advise clients on their needs, not because we want to sell them a particular product. And that is the key differentiator between a successful advisor who always listens to the clients, analyzes the needs of the clients, and based on that need, always advises. And that is a mark of being successful, and that's how you keep clients in the long run. If you did a need analysis of the same clients and you ask those questions which I asked you in the poll before you go and see him, saying that, have you thought about investing in US dollars, or do you think that there is any upcoming need of spending in the US dollars for your kids' education? So I've just got a small. Do we have a poll here, Shrey? I think we have got a small poll here just to understand what we are talking in terms of. So I've shared the poll with you. I want you to think about it this way. If you were to do a survey with your top clients, asking them if they wanted to send their kids to international universities, how many would say yes? Great, I can see some interesting polling. Yes, I'll repeat it. Still few people to vote. If you do a survey with your top clients, asking them if they wanted to send their kids to international universities, how many would answer yes? Less than 25%, between 25 and 50%, above 50%, and all 100%. Great, we've still got a few people to vote, but yes, we got good results, and we've almost 85% people voted. Can you share the results, Shrey? So, if you think education is expensive, try ignorance. It's more expensive, right? So this is just the result. If you look at almost 21% of you said 100% of these guys are going to go and send their kids abroad, right? And more than 50% said, almost 47% said that 50% of the clients will say abroad. Now, if you look at this again, I'm sure you handle multiple tens and hundreds of clients and you have segregated your clients. I do want you to share a similar kind of a feedback from clients in a nicer way, of course, not just simple one question. What are their needs and where do you think that the clients will go and study? You would be surprised that how many of them would have said that, you know, yes, I would want at some point of time my boy or my girl go into US or UK and you know, pursue their higher studies. And then you ask them the question, are you collecting enough dollars? Because the same dollar might be more expensive in the long run. And that's where they will start asking you, okay, then do you have a solution? Well, of course I have a solution, and the solution is just going to come in next, right? That's what we're talking about. So why do I invest in dollars? One is it is hedge against the depreciation of the Indian rupee. We've all seen that. Why? Again, plan to fund for university education, international properties and migration. I'm sure you guys saw what Mr. Ajmera shared with us and why people are sending money from India to overseas or international universities or buying a house, etc. And that number is ever growing. With just, you know, matter of time where you will be asked by your client saying that, yes, do you have a solution for this? And of course, it also, as an advisor, gives you a diversification call, which means that, you know, it is a geographical and time diversification. It could be safeguard against your future expenses. So that's a great way to speak or call or start a conversation with a client. They all want to hear about new things, right? So again, if you look at the client then asking you, you know what, I can invest in US dollars, but is there any official route, right? Many of them are not aware about it. I'm sure you are aware about it. It is the LRS route. The LRS is the Liberalized Remittance Scheme. If you haven't heard it as yet, then please go and check on the RBI site. But I do assume that most of you would know this, which means that it started in 2004. It started with $25,000. And now currently, from a capital account or a transaction account, you can pay up to $250,000 in any financial year from India to anywhere in any other country. And it can be deployed to buy property. It can be deployed to spend for education, making investments abroad, acquisition, holding shares, listed, unlisted. And there is a whole lot of list. What we will also do, since you are all registered with us, we will send you an LRS write-up, which we've taken from RSM, which is the top 6 audit companies of the world. They're based in Mumbai, and they've given us what the LRS means and what are the tax implications on LRS. Of course, this was taken 2 years ago, and I'm sure there must have been a few changes through RBI in the recent past. But of course, you can go back to your auditors and get that updated. So this is a great way to tell the clients that, you know, everything is official, everything is seamless. The banks know about it. It is just a matter of, you know, filling up a form. And if there is any questions, please ask us and we can guide you. Right. I think, sorry, I know what happened. Okay, maybe there was some disturbance. Right, so where we are now is, you know, we're moving into different products now. Let me just give me a second. Right, so it gives me, you know, Guarantee deals with a numerous number of products. And we believe that, you know, this is just the start of many introductions and trainings. Today we've gathered so that we talk about the most easy of the products which we have, which is an SIP, a dollar-based SIP. And I'm going to play a short video for this company which we are introducing. And also it will then be introduced to the regional head of India and Middle East, and he can go through the products. Shri, can you please play the video? It's fine.
Investors Trust is an international group of insurance companies and subsidiaries in multiple jurisdictions around the world, with a mission to provide international investors with access to global markets through an extensive offering of insurance-linked investment products. It is our modernized approach to savings and investments that sets us apart from the competition over the last 20 years. The company has become a leader in the industry by continuing its focus on flexible solutions, enhanced opportunities, advanced technologies, and world-class customer support. Investors Trust established its first insurance company based out of the Cayman Islands, together with a corporate support office located in Miami. We introduced our state-of-the-art transactional website and first in the industry to offer online fund transfers in multiple languages. Less than a year later, the company started distribution in Asia and began to expand further around the globe. Two new products which launched the evolution of our product platform. The Platinum and S&P 500 Index products have continued to be our most successful products to date. In 2008, due to its global growth, we made the decision to establish two service points, one in Uruguay and one in Hong Kong, to be closer to its growing markets. Investors Trust introduced its fixed income portfolio, an excellent complement to any diversified mutual fund portfolio. That same year, the company introduced the electronic application, another first in the industry that streamlines the application process by implementing secure and modern technologies. The company initiated its corporate responsibility program, was later formalized into Investors Trust Cares, where we defined our commitments and established efforts to improve our impact on the world around us. 2011, Investors Trust launched one of its most successful saving solutions, Evolution. In 2012, the company opened a new service point in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, is licensed by the Labuan Financial Services Authority, LFSA. In 2014, we expanded our product lineup with the launch of our personalized portfolio bond, Access Portfolio, designed to provide investors with optimal freedom and flexibility. In 2015, Investors Trust acquired its license from the Dubai Financial Services Authority, DFSA, and opened a new office in Dubai, as it's an ideal hub for businesses wishing to tap into the fast-emerging financial markets of the Middle East, Africa, and Indian subcontinent. An account access platform, all-in-one stop shop for managing accounts, including our Resolution Center, a tool available in multiple languages where financial advisors can get fast, reliable responses so they can spend more time servicing their clients and less time waiting for answers. In the beginning of 2019, we became the first company in the industry to offer a multi-jurisdictional approach to clients around the globe. With the establishment of a licensed insurance company in Puerto Rico, it effectively started providing clients with the power to select from multiple jurisdictions and build a portfolio based on their individual needs. Over the past 2 decades, Investors Trust has seen great success and has emerged as a leader in the international unit-linked industry. The commitment to its markets and forward-thinking mentality have positioned the group for even greater growth and expansion in the years to come.
Thank you for your patience, guys. And it's a small introduction to the company. I'm just going to hand over Nigel Soanes, who's our regional head of India and Middle East, and he's dedicated to us in the region, as well as plays a big hand in this market. Not only he's into the industry for long, but he's been one of the advisors, successful advisors, and we worked together for many years before he took the role in Investors Trust. So again, it gives me great pleasure. Nigel, I hope you're here, and let's carry on.
Good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Ajmera sir, and thank you, Rakesh. Excellent insight into the things that can be done. And I'm not going to waste too much of time, of course, going into too much of detail. But I'll just quickly jump into the history of the product and of Investors Trust, who we are, and also take you all through some products that will obviously add more value. I see a lot of questions as well in the chat. So Rakesh will just need to make a note and get to them after the session is done, I guess. But guys, we'll answer all your questions, even though they're interesting questions. We'll definitely answer all of them. We can move on to the next slide. Okay, so who's really Investors Trust? We are primarily called Investors Trust Assurance SPC. Now, I'll take you through the key points. What does SPC really stand for? Segregated Portfolio Cell or Segregated Portfolio Company, which primarily means that every single client who signs up with Investors Trust has a segregated portfolio cell or a segregated portfolio company, which in layman terms means that, God forbid, something happens to Investors Trust at any given point in time in the future, we do not have access to client funds. So all your clients' assets are protected complete 100%. And as you saw in the video, we are regulated in Cayman Islands, Puerto Rico, Malaysia, Uruguay, Hong Kong, Kuala Lumpur, and Dubai. Incorporated in 2002. We've got about 55,000 ultra high net worth clients across the globe. Our AUM is increasing every single day, I say, and we are currently at 1.9 billion US dollars of worth of AUM. Now, very important, the last point is that we service clients in more than 100 countries through affiliates like yourself. Now, this is one very key thing, and which of course I will keep detailing more as time goes by in the presentation, is that you might be sitting in India, but you can actually become a global advisor the minute you are enrolled with Investors Trust, because Investors Trust doesn't really restrict you in terms of the region that you're doing business in. You can sign up clients anywhere across the world, and at this given point in time of age that we are in, you might be doing several Zoom calls, but unable to actually close a deal because you might need physical signatures from your clients, several of those things. But with Investors Trust and with our highly advanced platform, you are able to get everything done with the snap of a finger. Next. So like I said, we initially started off with Cayman Islands Monetary Authority, and now as of today we have Labuan as well, and we have Puerto Rico as well, and of course from the Middle East we are under the DFSA jurisdiction. So for you as an advisor, and even for the client has the opportunity to choose between Cayman Islands, Puerto Rico, and Labuan for any jurisdiction that they might be comfortable with, or you as an advisor might be comfortable with. But again, the safety, the segregated portfolio cells, and the safety and the guarantees of all the other products that we discuss, stay the same on all the three jurisdictions. Now, again, how does us being globally present really help you? Is again that you see over here, we are based in Dubai, and we've got Kuala Lumpur as an office, and we've actually also got an addition of Uruguay as well. So what happens is, if you put in an application at any given point of the time of the day or night even, you would have either one of these offices in Kuala Lumpur or Uruguay that actually pick up the application and move ahead with it. So except for Saturdays and Sundays, which is a global holiday, of course, we don't have any movement on those 2 days, but virtually 24/7 support in that sense, which again, for you as an advisor, you can focus on your sales while we take care of your back-end admin, so to speak. Yeah. So next slide. Again, why would somebody choose Investors Trust? We are A negative excellent by AM Best, and we are happy to share our entire detailed financial report with you. And I'll obviously, leave it to Rakesh and Mr. Ajmera to send that across to each one of you all as well, so that you can see the financial standings of the company and understand how profitable we really are, which obviously will give you and the investor more, sort of sense of, okay, what these guys really mean serious business. Second is the trust structure, which gives, again, the clients a bigger opportunity, a bigger desire really to, help with their estate planning. So the trust structure really works well for them. Again, the access to global funds, the access to global products, without the burden of taxation. The segregated portfolio cell that I spoke to you about will obviously help a lot of them because they like to see all of those things, so that they know that Investors Trust does not have access to any of their funds at any given point in time. And most importantly, the investment options are backed by world-class asset managers. Yeah, so that really helps you when you're speaking. Now, I think the most important thing, which would always be the first, is our approach with the state-of-the-art platform. And we'll do a small demo to take you through the online platform as well, to show you how things can be done so fast and how they can be done online. Again, I like what's mentioned over here as well, in the fact that policy can be issued within 4 hours. But I think, Rakesh, we'll all have to update that, because 2 weeks ago we had an application that was issued within 3 hours and 40 minutes because the documents were clear. So again, it really works if you once you get a hang of it. And as Rakesh said, I was somebody who used to sell this myself before I got on to actually working with Investors Trust. Once you get a hang of it and once you start doing this, trust me, you'll look at the others and just be like, why have we've been wasting our time. Our custodians, our global custodians of all our assets are Brown Brothers Harriman or Bank of America, and Bank of America as well. So these are our 2 global custodians for all our assets. Yeah. Now, again, a lot of people will say, why Investors Trust and why should we trust them? And it's only since 2002. But again, I'd like to ask everyone a simple question. How many of you all have Facebook accounts? I'm sure all of us either on Facebook or on Instagram. When was Facebook and Instagram launched? 2002. You've got all your lives details stored there. You've got every single thing, and with the current updates that are coming up, you've got so much information that you are sharing with parties that you don't know what they're doing with your info. So it always just goes to show that just because in terms of the numbers are not established in maybe 1800s or the 1900s, it doesn't necessarily mean that the company is not stable and the company is not strong enough financially. Okay, and if you look at the figures again, these are the assets, the Bank of America, for instance, if you look at the assets under management in billions, the figures speak for itself. Again, if you just look at their investment banking alone, it's 54 billion that they have AUM. So, and Brown Brothers Harriman as well, which is the largest private banking entity in the world. Just the investment management alone is 54 billion as their AUM. Their investor services is 4.7 trillion that they have, and their private banking, of course, is 33 billion their AUM. So these are the reasons why we, of course, chose to deal with these sort of entities as our global custodians. Next. And that, of course, brings us on to the major reason why we are, wanting to obviously push our product, wanting people to understand our product and take this seriously, because of the fact that the education expenses are increasing by, as Mr. Ajmera said as well. And again, Rakesh will be sharing an education calculator and a Excel sheet that we've actually created so that it will help you. And with, of course, with Mr. Rakesh as well, that we've done that. It might be in several currencies. It might need a little bit of touch up from your end. But if you start working on that and if you start looking at it, and as you saw in the poll as well, I mean, I would always say, at least in the Middle East and in Asia as well now, we've got a lot of clients who want to send their kids abroad by default. It's not even a question to be asked. It's an understood thing that when the child goes to school, he knows that the thing university is going to happen abroad. And that is why it takes us on very nicely onto our product. The next. Okay, so I think I would say one of the best-selling plans and the best-selling plan really has been our capital guaranteed plan. Okay, which is the S&P 500 and the MSCI index plan. So what I'm telling you is that we've got 10, 15, and 20-year terms with principal protection of, in the 10-year term, it's 100% guaranteed. In the 15-year term, it's 140% guaranteed. And in the 20-year term, it's 160% guaranteed. But what I would like to add on there is that in the 10-year term, it's 100% minimum guaranteed. In the 15-year term, it's 140% minimum guaranteed. In the 20-year term, it's 160% minimum guaranteed, which means let's look at the 15-year term just for now. So that once we get the gist of the 15-year term, we can then look at the other products and the other terms as well. What I'm trying to tell you is that in the 15-year term, the IRR boils down to 4.25 minimum guaranteed return on the S&P 500. The minimum investment, okay, over here is basically very minimal if you actually look at it in terms of figures. Now, when you look at 100% participation in the growth of the S&P 500 and the MSCI IFA index, you would obviously understand that these two indexes cannot go wrong. And most importantly is that we have got the top 6 banks of the world who are actually providing the guarantee for this product. So you've got Deutsche Bank, Citibank, HSBC, Morgan Stanley, Barclays, and Credit Suisse. Okay, so these are the top 6 banks of the world who are actually providing the guarantee for this product. Now, one simple question or a simple pitch that I would like to always, put across is that I was just doing the calculation in Indian rupees as well. Do you want to be a INR crorepati or do you want to be a US dollar millionaire? Should be a simple pitch to your clients. If you want to be an INR crorepati, give me $600 a month for every month for 15 years, and I will guarantee you a minimum of a crore rupees at the end of 15 years. Now, this 1 crore worth of rupees is net of charges and including the loyalty bonus. Or if a client tells you, what, listen, I'm not interested in being an Indian crorepati, I want to be a dollar millionaire. You tell the client very simple, give me $4,000 a month and I will guarantee you on paper at least $1 million at the end of 15 years with the guarantee from top 6 banks of the world. Okay. So if you give this client a pitch, it already puts in, seeds into his mind to say that, oh, he's not worried about the charges because you've told him that whatever you're offering him, whether he's a Indian crorepati or he's a dollar millionaire, you're offering net of charges. So that is after deduction of all the charges, and that is including the loyalty bonus. Okay, so this really, really helps for somebody to plan if they want to send their children abroad for higher education. Somebody wants to basically plan for their retirement. Or somebody just wants to say, what, listen, when I retire or when I maybe I turn 60, I want to have at least $1 million in my bank account, confirmed guarantee without me doing anything. So you say, Mr. Client, give me $4,000 a month and I can ensure that I can give that to you, no questions asked. But a client says, what if S&P performs below 4.25? You tell him, I will give you at least 4.25 minimum guaranteed return. If S&P performs anything above 4.25, you have upside participation as well, which then comes on to, disrupting the objection of, oh, we are looking at these other products, we are looking at this, we are looking at that, these things offer you, offer me much more or offer me much less, I don't know what. But eventually the point that I'm trying to make is that if you stick to if you let the client know and you educate the client that this is what it is, these things really work. Yeah, and also to let you know, we've come up with some maturity of some plans, and we've given our clients 5.9% net of charges, okay, in a 15-year term, which obviously really works well for the client. Yeah.
I'll just add on one thing. I'll just add on one thing, which Nigel said. I mean, a few years ago when we started to sell these or offer these products to our clients, I often used to, people often used to ask me that, what happened, what did your funds do when Lehman crashed in 2008-9? So we used to tell them, what, these plans are Lehman proof, because at the end of the day, imagine that you were supposed to get a return in the year 2008 or 9 when the Lehman actually crashed and the S&P went to almost as low as 900. These banks will still guarantee you your minimum guaranteed return. That made a big impact because that can happen. We all know what happened in March. And of course, the markets bounced back. I'm not saying that it did not. But if it were to be a lull, it were to be a problem in the month or the year when your maturity comes in, you know that there is a minimum protection which are coming from the likes of Citi and HSBC. And of course, they go down, we have a bigger problem to handle than your plans, because these are the world largest banks in the world. So anyway, so this was a very good pitch which I used in those days, and people who really liked it. And especially when you're looking at putting aside some amount of money in the guaranteed plans. I'm not saying that there are not other plans which can give you higher returns, but you still allocate some amount of money to guarantees. Yes, Nigel.
And in addition to that, basically, if you, I think if we just look at this again, guys, I'll be giving you a lot of live examples of what has worked for me personally, even when I was selling, so that maybe this can be tweaked as per your requirements to help you sell more. But the very good thing that happens with Investors Trust is that we allow something called pre-funding. So in every 12-month period, we allow a client to pre-fund up to 36 months worth of premium, at that time. So what that means is that, Shrey, if you can just go back to the previous slide. What that means is that, say if a client takes up a 15-year term, okay, but the client says, you know what, listen, I like the 15-year term, I like the guarantee, but I don't think I want to be paying for 15 years. What can we do? Assumption that the client takes $1,000 a month plan. Okay, so his annual commitment is basically $12,000. But what Investors Trust is telling you that in every 12-month period from his policy anniversary, he basically can contribute up to $36,000 worth of premium every single year. So if he does that, say in year 1, he does 36,000, year 2, 36, year 3, 36, year 4, 36, and year 5, 36. What you're doing is that you're finishing his commitment of $180,000 in the span of 5 years. He keeps it, but he has to keep his money invested with us till the end of 15 years for him to obviously, get his 252 minimum that we would have committed to him on paper. Okay, now again, there are only 3 things that actually help negate the guarantee, which you should know as well. Is one is if a client reduces the contribution at any time, if he takes a partial withdrawal at any time, or tomorrow if he misses a payment of 90 days grace period. Now, how does this pre-funding really help you and help the client? Is very simple. Say in March 2020, when clients saw the markets were starting to tank, a lot of clients said, you know what, listen, we rather do pre-funding now, buy more units now, and that obviously helps us buy some time in terms of before when to do our next contribution. And also their money got invested immediately. So because of that, now when the S&P has jumped back, their values and their units obviously are much more, which obviously helps the client, and which is why it is important for them as well, to know the pre-funding aspect. And this pre-funding is valid and available for any of our regular saving plans. So even in the 10-year plan, a client can finish within 3.5 years. Technically, the client can finish his pre-funding. In the 20-year term, of course, it will go up to about, say, 6.5 years or so for pre-funding that is available. So this is something wherein it helps you, because I know a lot of people like to reduce, the premium payment term as well. Yeah. So the next slide. And again, like Rakesh said, even over the last 10 years, S&P 500 has delivered an average return of 13.6 per annum. Average return of S&P has been 7% in any of the 15-year period. And obviously, S&P has never given negative returns in any 7-year period. You just go to the next one. And this is with the MSCI as well, which is obviously the MSCI IFE. So that's Europe, Australasia, and Far East. To the next. Now, for all, I'm assuming that all of you would at least have an idea of what the S&P consists of. But the top 10 constituents by weight are, of course, the Apple or Alphabet, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook, Tesla, Berkshire, Johnson & Johnson, and JP Morgan Chase. Yeah, so these are names that are obviously known to every single person, and this doesn't need any introduction of why we are pitching the S&P 500 really. The next. So So that was based primarily with regards to the S&P 500. And Rakesh, if I may just allow, can we just quickly address some questions so that it helps while we please?
Sure, Nigel, we can answer a few questions just to make it a little more interactive as well.
Please,
So
please.
there are a few. I'm sure you've seen
Yeah,
it.
one of the question, Nigel, was that at the very early, that now the fund investment is available in India, and we can make it. So why we should make a direct investment with this one compared to what is available in India? So the fund, that is also dollar investment.
Yeah, but again, few questions of tomorrow. It's always the case of if you're going to just as anyone that you might want to do it with, because what you have to understand is that say for instance you go to, I'm just saying, you go to an HDFC and you tell an HDFC, listen, you know what, or a UTI maybe, and you say that, listen, I have X amount of money to put in. What can you do for me? Now, first of all, the entry points are always much more higher in terms of the minimums, the entries that they have over there. And also tomorrow you are getting a guarantee, so to speak, from only maybe that specific entity. But when you come to an entity like us, like Investors Trust, what happens is, because we have advisors from across the globe who are getting in so much of funds to come in, the minimum entry levels are much more low. Like you will never find an S&P 500 index that is giving you a guarantee as well with a minimum contribution as we have. So if there is basically, if there is something like that does exist, is again looking at the guarantees versus what is the minimum entry into that. And of course, Rakesh, if you've got anything more to add on.
No, I have a very different point of view here, Miraji. One is that, what happens is there are mutual funds available. There are mutual funds available in different aspects. Index funds are very cheap to buy, and people can go into any platforms like Interactive Brokers and buy it. The problem with all those kind of investments is, one is they're very erratic. They don't come with any kind of I would say, guarantee at all, because if you put it over a period of time and there is an argument that, why do we need guarantees? These indexes are good enough. Well, then please go ahead and do it. It's not that you did not have the opportunity to do that before. But anybody who is looking at, even today saying that, LIC plans are not working, believe me, you have to see the numbers. LIC picks up more policies than they have picked up in the last 10 years, even after the international companies came through. So, and what does LIC sell? They sell all regular investment plans, which are capital protected or guaranteed with their endowments and stuff. And how much they are paying you? 4%, 4.5%, 5%, 5.5%, say 6%. Even if they pay you 5-6%, with the amount of returns which you are actually making in rupee terms with inflation, is not very high. And the same thing, if I pick up last 10 years and saying that these funds are available in US dollars and they're capital guaranteed and giving you 4.25% returns, now you add the depreciation of the rupee, which you saw is close to about 4 to 6%, depending upon which area which time period you came in. It's a very, very huge difference. It's almost, you're talking about almost a double-digit return. So this is what I think is the point here.
Isn't it the case, Rakesh bhai?
There was, yeah.
The another point is that if you are investing into the fund in India, probably you are giving the money in rupees and you are getting back in the rupee as well. Are you going to get into dollar?
Well, here you are actually sending out the rupee through the LRS route, which means that the day you send your money, it is converted into dollars, and all the money is lying in a international platform in dollars.
No, I'm talking about the funds which is being now sold in India.
Yes, the fund of funds which are sold in India are, you're putting your money in rupees. That is what the hedge they are taking. It is not that they are taking the money into a dollar and then they are converting into a fixed price. They are not doing that.
So basically,
In
the
fact,
currency
when you're looking at
fluctuations,
all
what you
these,
have.
When you're looking at a feeder fund. Yeah.
So basically, if you're looking at the personal hedging, if you want to do it, then it can only happen when you do your direct investment. If you go through the funds, then you are paying, means giving the money in a rupee and getting back in the rupees. So if you want to use that money for your children's educations you cannot use it. Am I correct?
Yes, you are correct. And they will convert the money into rupees and they will bring it back into rupees. So the hedging risk is what you're paying. Now, hedging costs are not cheap. It will be anywhere between 2.75 to 4.75% per annum. But that is actually eating into your profit, not their profit.
So, so this investment, direct investment, will help you that you are remitting the money under the dollars. You are getting the money in dollars, and then it's up to you how you want to use that money or what you want to do with that.
Absolutely right. So when say for an example, when a person starts transferring the money today, it is at 73, 74 value. His money is converted into dollars and he holds it into dollars. He doesn't bring it back into India. And the LRS write-up on taxation, which will clarify this, I will send that to you at the end of the program to all the people who registered, will also, this also ensures that whenever you feel in the next 10, 15 years, at that time, probably the dollar is maybe 100 and you're bringing it back or you're using it there, depends, but your dollar is still a dollar. You don't have to go it back into a rupee. So if I were to start converting it today, I'm actually hedging against my future cost. I'm not hedging against my cost, which I'm taking today, which the funds will actually.
Now it's, I think we are already 5:10. Can we go to your platforms now as we have looked at the two products? I think that your platform is also very powerful and that also needs to be shown. So can we move to that one, Rakesh, please?
I suggest what we do is we quickly run through the evolution because it is a similar mirror of S&P guaranteed because a lot of people would like to have a choice of going into open-ended. So we can run through this in the next 5-7 minutes.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead.
Right. Please go ahead, Nigel.
So primarily the S&P 500 and the MSCI were two guaranteed products. With only obviously one index option, and that's about it. But the next one that we have is something called the Evolution, which has the fixed term of 5, 10, 15, 20, and 25-year terms. Again, the choice of US dollar, GBP, or Euro that the client wants to invest in. The minimums are again $500. There is no bid offer spread on the regular investment and the free fund switches as well. This has access to, obviously increase and decrease contribution. It has access to make partial withdrawals in between the tenure as well. So again, it becomes extreme contrast to what I've already told you about the S&P 500. So this can work really well. If you can go to the next slide, this works really well for your advisors as well. And again, we've got client incentive through extra allocations basis whatever they are choosing to do, on an annual basis as well. The next slide, so we don't waste too much time. Now, most importantly is there are 350 funds or so, direct funds that are available. Again, please note, we don't have any mirror funds. And we are one of the only companies, I should say the only company that also allows iShares as well. So if a client likes the fact of doing an S&P 500, but doesn't want to be locked into a guaranteed product with a 15-year term commitment and with all of the restrictions, he can then choose the S&P 500 or the MSCI iShare as well, that is available through Evolution. But like you see, major fund houses, Franklin Templeton, you've got the Schroders, you've got BlackRock, you've got Morgan Stanley, Fidelity, and everyone. And Rakesh, I think you wanted to just put in a quick word of something even about the fund management, right, over here?
Yeah, I'm going to quickly run through a poll here, and that will bring me to my next question. So we'll quickly run through so that you are able to understand what we are trying to prove here. Where's the poll?
Yeah.
So quickly, how do you currently manage your portfolio? I'm not talking about international. I'm talking about in-house, which is in India. So you have an in-house manager. Can you hear me?
Sorry, I think everyone can see the answers. We are not getting the option to choose the answers.
Oops.
Co-host can see you. Co-host can't vote.
You can't vote, Nigel. You can see it.
I figured so.
Yeah.
As you are a co-host, you're not allowed. You cannot participate. Conflict of interest.
Yeah. See, we are talking to a lawyer, right? So you have to be careful. So anyways, the questions were that how do you manage your portfolio? In-house manager, research team, outsourced professionals, or none of the above? So we got a couple of more seconds. We still have a few people more to vote and then we'll be done. Yes, and let's see the results. So here we are. So how do you currently manage your Indian portfolio? 22% said in-house manager, which is great. They could afford it. And they have somebody qualified to run this. They have a research team. Of course, not most of the small advisors will have research teams unless and until you are a big bank or IFL or, big fund house. Then, of course, you are outsourced to external professionals, but it comes with a cost. It's not for free. Outsourced professionals will charge you for that. And, hats off to the 30% who feel they are fund managers themselves. Because it's really, for me, it's like juggling a lot of balls. I can be either a fund manager sitting in front of the screen or talk to the client. When I'm talking to the client, suddenly the stock falls. So the client says, what are you doing in front of me? You're not a fund manager, right? So 30%, which is very, very surprising. It's quite a high number, but I won't be surprised that, it's a very niche job which you guys are doing, and hats off to you guys. So just to tell you why I chose that poll, to just open up your mind, so that we do have all these fund managers. We have 350 funds, but you are sitting in India, you do not have much knowledge about what's happening in the global market of, 7,000 odd funds. So what do we do? How do we assist you? So Investors Trust has something which a very, very unique strategy. We use a company called GAM. If you've not heard about it, please go online, check who GAM is. GAM is one of the Swiss-based companies managing close to about 110 odd billion dollars. They have fund of fund approach, zero cost to us at all. They have strategies where they do active management, asset allocation, and multi-asset investing. So it's a great tool which Investors Trust has on hand. And we have all these strategies fixed in there. So you have the defensive, cautious, balanced growth, global equity. Of course, this will all depend upon the client's risk appetite and where does he want to invest. And we can share with you by email what GAM has done in the last 5 years. And some of the US equity stocks have done crazy. I'm sure it is the same in India as well, but because of the index going at almost 50,000 now. But you can see there's a contrast difference in what these guys have done. So, the key element here is you're not really wasting a lot of time on research. You're not wasting a lot of time on finding and outsourcing and spending a lot more money on who's going to handle my active portfolio. GAM does that for you. It's very active management and chooses all the funds. On top of it, you also have an online tool. This online tool is your active access portfolio. This is how the portfolio looks like, which Ajmera ji was talking to you guys about. So it's a small platform. So Shrey is going to go in and talk to you about how a portfolio would look like. Okay, Nigel, do you want to do that? Nigel, do you want to do that?
Yeah, sure. I'm just going on to the platform though to just take them through the process.
Sure. Yeah. So what we're trying to show is that how how technology has enabled this company to move in this direction. Though they're very young, but the way they have positioned themselves, where you're actually getting an online advisor with you, trying to make your portfolio with all the researches and the different tools available for you to sit in front of the client and do what the other big companies like the IFLs and other companies of the world do. So this is what the dashboard will look like, and I'm sure there you go, Nigel, and it's all up to you now.
All right. So guys, if you see this, the minute you sign up with Investors Trust, there's basically something called Resolution Center that becomes your personalized inbox, that I would always call it, to liaise with Investors Trust and our backend team. Okay, so very simple. Again, you go to your main page. Okay, please just forget the buffering time, but it's generally much more faster. Where obviously you can just see a whole review of all your clients and what they are doing as well over here. But most importantly, is something that I would call the Resolution Center. Like I said, your personalized inbox, wherein any concerns or any updates regarding your clients, any communication is done through your resolution center. So you don't have to really contact Nigel. You don't have to contact anyone over here, because if I'm away, I'm busy. You've got somebody who can answer you 24/7 on your resolution center. And again, anything and everything with regards to certain details that you might need about the client, etc., etc. But I think what is very exciting is actually if you look at your electronic illustration. Now, what is also very interesting, I think, and that sets us apart in many ways, is something called the AML risk-based tool. So you don't have to get in touch with me to say, Nigel, do we accept business from this place, from this nationality? Nothing of that sort. So if you look at it, just doing a new plan, for instance, plan has not been submitted. If you look at the insurance company, assuming that we are going with Puerto Rico, if it's an individual, say if he's, I'm just saying again, if anyone gives me a nationality just saying India, for instance, if he's based in United Arab Emirates, for instance, politically exposed, no. If he's looking at the S&P 500 15-year term, series 3, and say if he's looking at $24,000 per annum, that's $24,000. Assumption he's doing it from his credit card. Method of funding from the personal credit card, and he's funding it, assumption, from United Arab Emirates. The source of funds are again from his income, and you want it, of course, in the English language. So this, immediately when you click OK, this will obviously tell you if we first of all can accept the business or no, in the sense of that nationality, that residence, where it's funding it from. And it will immediately come up to you with a result and will then show you the sort of basic paperwork that you need to start off this transaction. Okay, so like you see over here. So if, for instance, tomorrow we don't accept a certain nationality, it will show up that we don't accept this nationality, or we cannot do this business. Which for you as an advisor, again, like I said in the first slide itself, that you have access to the world. You don't have to restrict yourself to somebody only in India. You can have clients maybe who start off from India, but then eventually who can refer you to their references across the globe, and this product is available for everybody. Yes. Again, the illustration is very simple and very easy to do, but I think the application, on an average, anywhere between 20 to 30 minutes, you can finish a full-fledged application and everything can be done. Of course, the more and more you do more applications, the time to do each application keeps dropping substantially. You might initially take 45 minutes to do one application, but once you get the flow of it, I'm sure within 20 minutes you can be done with a single application as well. Yeah. And I think once we go into this, we will keep doing more trainings with you guys to understand and to go through the entire thing. But most importantly, even if like Rakesh was talking about the portfolio management as well, these are things wherein you can look at your entire portfolio. You don't really need to worry about what is happening in terms of your portfolio. If you're looking at your network of the people that you want, you have your distribution network, so you can actually see a lot of things. Again, to look at your library, you've got all the paperwork that is there. So anytime a form is needed, additionally, you will have all your forms that are available in this library that you can look for, and you can actually just download and use. So Rakesh, I think this just gives them an overview of it. We can get into more detailing as soon as they sign up, so that then that way it's meant for specifically people who are already on it, rather than giving everybody the whole idea of it. But this just gives them a flavor of what we really do and what we are into and what we look like.
I think last thing, Nigel, is also about the resolution center. Just tell them the turnaround time, and everything is done so easily.
So guys, the basic turnaround time and the approved turnaround time for any of our responses is 4 hours. Okay, like I said, Saturdays and Sundays excluded. You should hear from on any query within 4 hours because that is our turnaround time. Okay, so turn time, of course, really matters a lot because then you're doing your sales, like I always say, leave the admin and the backend work to us. But Resolution Center works as a powerful tool for you guys, obviously, then to push more to get your things done. But Resolution Center works for everything, in terms of your checking on, you have access to getting your client portfolio and your client valuations yourself once you learn all of that. But you have the access to do everything over here. So it really doesn't, you really don't need anything else except for your login details and then, getting to actually do your business. Rakesh, on to you.
Yeah. Thanks, Nigel. Guys, if you want, what I can also do is show you one of the live demo into a client portfolio. We'll just take a couple of minutes. Shri, do you want to do that? Basically, what is it showing? For an example, I'll show you to you live. This is a client which started with me about a year and 2 months ago in an evolution plan. And how we made the portfolio, which was done online with hand-holding the client. It was very easy. He chose all the funds depending upon his risk profile. And of course, he has access to all the fact sheets, did a strategy, and the model portfolio came up and he chose the funds. And of course, if you look at what it has done in the last 13, 14 months, is unbelievable. So this is how I look at it. So this is my agency. Of course, I have a conflict of interest. So you can see my wife's name on the top. That is my live account for a client. This is how it looks like. And if you look when it started on October of 2019. Annual premium is 30,000. He's paying $2,500 a month. And look at how this, the benefit summary looks like, and look at how this whole entire thing looks like. So he's currently paid 32,500 monthly, 2,500. Like I said, 13 months is currently valued at 44,475. And believe me or not, I have not done anything. I'm not strategized, nothing. It's just a bit initial phases, which me and my colleague Shrey were doing that. And that's about it. And it picks up everything on its own. And even if now you'll be able to see the fact sheet of all the funds which we have chosen. It's slightly buffering because there are too many things going on the PC at the same time. But this is what the whole thing looks like. Still very slow, Shrey. Yeah. Till it goes, let's go to the portfolio. I think it would be better to have a look at the portfolio of what it looks like. So if you look at it, these are the portfolios he's chosen. These are the funds he's chosen. He's got the AB Emerging Market Growth Fund, MAN AHL Diversified, BlackRock Managed Index Portfolios, BlackRock US Dollar Liquidity Fund, just to create a little liquidity. And if you see, all this is what has happened in the last few months. So what is the amount of asset allocation we've got in there? What are the fund performances? If you scroll down, it will also show you the individual funds, how they performed, what has been in 3 years, 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, volatility. Everything is available on a dashboard. And you can imagine it has taken just 1 minute to get into these things, right? And if you want to change some portfolio, create a new portfolio, everything is available on the left-hand side. If you see, you also have the Morningstar portfolio X-ray. It will give you an electronic platform. So it just has everything what a advisor will need. You can sit on the PC and get it done. That's what the clients want to see when you are sitting in front of the client, rather than those traditional way of doing your portfolios. So this is what the X-ray looks like on Morningstar. The performance, the stock asset allocation, everything is online. Everything is available to you to have a look at it, what it has done, to sit in front of the client. Anyway, so I think this gives you a good preview of what we've done. Like you said, Prashantji, the essence of time and the Q&A, which we need to answer as well. We go back to the presentation and then quickly conclude and then go on to the Q&A. Right. So what is the onboarding process? You just come in. What is next? What is going to happen? So if you are keen, you let us know. We will send you an invitation. As I already said, the support team is with Ajmera ji. We do have team members sitting in Mumbai. We have one in Bangalore, one in Chennai, in Ahmedabad as well. So it's all in there. So you will receive an invitation online. You fill out an online form and complete your KYC process. It's a very simple process. Like how would you register for a fund? You need your ID, you need your incorporation license. If you're an individual proprietor license, then it's fine as well. A government issued ID, a PAN card or Aadhaar card is fine. And then you have to do something called an online AML test, which is very important. As per the regulation, just like you have AMFI in India, or you have certain examinations which we do year on year in India, they have something called an online test. It's a 1 hour test. It's online. It's very basic, simple questions, and you have to complete the test before you get registered advisor into the company of Investors Trust. And then, of course, we have a full-fledged online training program where you have met Nigel today. There is a full-fledged team in Dubai, and they will tell you about, they'll train you on exactly how the platform works, how do you onboard a client. And like I said, we do have teams in India which can handhold you. In some of the cities, if need be, they could go for joint calls as well. So once this is done, you are able to understand what the process is. Your accounts are set up. Everything is direct. There is no channel in between. You have a direct access to ITA. We are just helping you to market this and give you admin support. The payments are going directly from your client's accounts to Investors Trust account. And when the commercials are paid into your account, it is paid directly into your account. There is nobody in between. You don't have to follow Rakesh, or you don't have to follow Mr. Ajmera, where is my commission? Everything is done straightforward right into your account, from Investors Trust account to yours. So the process is fully transparent, very, very straightforward. And then, we can answer any of your questions further when we do your onboarding process. Just go to the next one, Shrey. So we just made a small calculation, about how the commissions work on a revenue, just how much is the potential of this particular plan. We've just made a basic SIP, $500, and somebody just buys into, say, a team of 10, 20 of you and an advisor. What kind of monies we are looking at, as an example, to the potential of almost between 3 to 4 million rupees of commissions by just putting in 50 cases a year. It's not a very big ask, to be very honest. The commissions are extremely competitive. These are, of course, gross amounts, your taxes you'll pay in your country. But we can share with you all the actual commissions in the contract when Mr. Ajmera or any of the team members send you the invitation to onboard. Yeah, next one. So like I said, we have teams available in these cities. And of course, like our support partner, Mr. Ajmera has been extremely kind and supportive. And we are together in a lot of things, including in the Forum Foundation, which we want to bring in to train and educate people on international investments. If there are any, of course, there are questions. Let's go on to the Q&A and see how quickly and efficiently we can answer and satisfy you.
I think, thank you, Rakesh Bhai. Thank you, Nigel and Shrey, for conducting this whole presentations. It's gone on for almost 1 hour and 20 minutes. So I'll stop the recording now, as we are